Greetings and salutations, all you wonderful world travelers. This is Judge Nicholas coming at you at that time of the week where my phone absolutely just blows up nonstop with alerts and notifications. Why? Because we are live, and I follow almost all of our social media accounts now. I didn't always. And I can all alerts, but they all go live all at one time. Let's get into it. Big Sexy, what's happening?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. I'm excited. We got our future is being formalized. We now have information that we did not have as of last recording. For those who did not catch our last episode, we left on a cliffhanger as I was getting ready to accept the destination for the North American Language and Cultural Assistance Program. I have since accepted the position, and I'm going to give you a few fun facts about where I'm headed. And let's see if you trivia heads can figure out where I'm going.
I'm also going to play this game because we have not had time to discuss this ahead of time.
Correct.
I'm also not going to get it because I don't know things. But go ahead.
Right, here we go. Okay, one, this city is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Western Europe, founded by the Phoenicians around 1100 BC. It is often called the Silver Teapot due to its unique shape and position on a narrow spit of land. I love the phrase "a narrow spit of land."
Is this like a Hawk Tuah reference?
It is not. This city is surrounded by water on three sides, giving it a distinct maritime character. The city's historic center is home to narrow streets, lively squares, and charming plazas, perfect for exploration. It boasts stunning beaches, including La Caleta, famous for its role in James Bond films. So I cannot wait to explore those beaches. My daily beach picks are going to have some amazing beach picks. Everybody I talked to about going here has said you're going to love the beaches. So I can't wait because y'all know how much I love beaches. It is renowned for its seafood, particularly its fresh fish dishes and traditionally fried fish known as pescadito frito. It's known for its carnival, one of the most famous and vibrant in Spain, attracting thousands of visitors each year, which we will be there for. So I can't wait to go to that. The city's skyline is dominated by its iconic cathedral and beautiful example of Baroque architecture. It has a rich musical heritage, as it is in many Andalusian cities. So we're getting a little closer. We know it's in Spain. We know it's in Andalusia.
I mean,
It
we
is
knew it
home.
was. Let's be real. I was trying to throw away all the Sweden jokes and the London jokes and all of that, but we all know it's in Spain.
We already knew it was in Spain. I mean, that's what this whole thing has been about, was Spain, right? But now you know it's in Andalusia. So now we know it takes away like Barcelona or Madrid, right? Those are out. Those are not, or Valencia. Those are out. Those are Andalusian cities. It is home to one of the oldest opera houses in Spain, the Gran Teatro Falla. Let's see. It is hometown of one of the famous Spanish composer Manuel de Falla. So hence the Gran Teatro Falla is probably named after him, I would assume. All right, and let's see if we can find one more good one. All right, the people are known for their friendliness and hospitality, welcoming visitors with open arms to experience the city's rich culture and history. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Sexy
Charlestown, South Carolina.
will be, will be in the Charleston, South Carolina of Spain, Cadiz, which is not the Charleston, South Carolina of Spain. We will be in Cadiz, Spain. For those who may remember on our cruise over, on Virgin Voyages, who, again, shout out to Virgin Voyages. Y'all should become a sponsor. We ported in Cadiz.
That's right.
Yeah, and funny thing, I didn't say this. We also ported in Palma, Mallorca, and I didn't say this there, but I did say this in Cadiz. We're walking around the city, and I was looking. I went, you know what? I could live here. I guess the universe heard me. When I went through all the cities that were available to choose from, and there were a lot. There were none in Costa del Sol, which is where we are now, which is what we wanted. We wanted to be either Barcelona, Benalmádena, Torremolinos, anywhere along the train or just outside of the train to live there. None of them were available. So we went, okay, well, let's look for beaches. And then, I recognized, I was scrolling through the cities and I saw Cadiz. I went, I know Cadiz. Let's check out Cadiz. And I look at the different schools there, and I found one that looks interesting. It'll be in Puerto Real, Port Royal. And we will be stationed there in October through the end of May. So it's exciting that we will be in what is known on a narrow spit of land, the Silver Teapot.
The Silver Teapot.
Yep, there's a narrow spit of land. Yes. So
funsies. I'm looking up flight prices from my local airports. You know what we really need? You half joked, and I'm only ever going to call it a half joke because we would never say no to a cruise line that would want to sponsor us. But I definitely think that we're a little small fry for that. But to get one of these like travel booking sites to sponsor us, that might be more realistic. So I'm not going to say the name of the aggregator that I am currently searching here, but it looks like, but again, I'm not paying any mind to convenience of flight, stops, layover times, class of ship or class of seating or anything like that. But it looks like there are definitely some options round trip. And again, what I did was this one gives kind of ranges of, I'm not picking specific dates that would or would not work for me. I'm just in the middle of February based on it indicating that these are the cheaper prices. But I'm looking at for economy seating, which of course my bougie ass would upgrade.
Of course you would.
But just as a baseline comparison tool here, round trip flights is in the 600s. To 900 it looks like. And again, I'm not looking in here and drilling deep to be like, oh gosh, there's an overnight layover or any of that kind of stuff, which if I were actually planning something I would look into.
You dive into a little bit, you pay for some upgrades here and there, to splurge a little bit on your travel arrangements.
But that's
so
now
we should definitely put some pitches together for different travel agencies as a sponsor. I've been looking up on how to create a good sponsor pitch as a podcast. So listeners, this is your real call to action. Please tell your friends about us, tell your family members about us. Just have them subscribe to the podcast. I would love for them to listen. Don't care if they do, just need the numbers. Because one of the things you go to the pitch is like, we have this number of listeners to the podcast. And they go, oh, that's a nice size number of listeners. Yeah, we'd be love to throw some dinero your way so we can do ads and stuff.
One of the things, and I think that this is appropriate as we jump into this tangent, one of the things that we might want to look for are those type of booking sites that have affiliate programs. That way, basically, we'd end up with some sort of coded link that was associated with us, which tells people that, hey, they got here from there. Kind of like we have
cruisehabit.com/BSDN.
Kind of like that. Now, those are just pure sponsors. That's just so that they can kind of track the progress of who's coming to their site from us. Like, we're not getting paid every time you go, but please use that link, because the great thing about using that link is not as much the fact that it associates us sending you there, but more so it actually takes you to a list of links on that are associated with Cruise Habit. So you can go from there directly to their YouTube channel. You can go from there directly to the group cruises if you're interested in doing one of their cruises. You can go directly from there to any other thing that they've got set up and find all of their stuff.
But the other good news is it does let them know that you are being funneled through our link, which lets them know that their sponsor dollars are going to a good cause and are showing some traction and feedback. So if you're listening to this, I will request that at this time in your browser, swing on over to cruisehabit.com/BSDN just to check it out, just to click over and put some traction in there. You don't gotta, there's nothing to buy. There's no merch to purchase. There's, it's just movement in that area. And that would, in the long run, help us out as well. And then once you're done with that, swing on over to social media and tell everybody to subscribe to our podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now we're in the portion of our travels here in Spain where we move around a lot. We got some big trip things coming up and bouncing around. So by the time you guys hear this, we will be in Nerja, Malaga, which is another small city in Spain. We've been there once before. I'm sure I talked about it. It was gorgeous, wonderful. Our friend Tanya, shout out to Tanya, who took us there. So now we're going to go stay there for about a week or so. Then we're going to stay with a couple friends in Marbella, Spain, that we met. I did an interview with two wonderful people, Arslan and Julian, that I talked about on the podcast, and I'll have that interview up hopefully this weekend as of this recording as a bonus episode. Me and my beautiful and amazing wife, Nella, were interviewed about being Americans in Malaga, Benalmádena specifically, and he's going to give me that footage so that I can put that interview up as a bonus episode.
I'm very confused.
Uh-oh. I mean, that's a normal state of being, but why this time specifically?
But obviously the wheels are always turning, and we've talked about me coming to visit wherever you are and trying to coordinate that with doing a performance or something, whether that was something that was me or us collaborating or whatever it is. So I searched for theaters in Cadiz, and on TripAdvisor, Grand Teatro Falla comes up.
The oldest opera house.
Then there's only two others. And one of them is a museum of puppets. So I'm thinking that there's kind of a lost in translation thing on my search. And another one is an archaeological remains museum. So I think I'm searching wrong to find this. But the one that you mentioned also came up. So I'm kind of confused. But we'll
Cadiz is small. And the good news is you'll have boots on the ground. And so I will definitely, do some research and find some theater spaces. Of course, I need to find performance spaces because I do plan on moving, doing the improv workshops and the dance workshops there as well. I'm not abandoning that just because we're going to a different place.
Right.
Yeah. So all that stuff is still going to happen. I'm still going to get involved in those kind of communities and build it from the Cadiz side, and I'll have time there because we'll be there for 6 months. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, 9 months. We'll be there for 9 months, long enough to have a Spanish baby. And we will.
Did I just hear somebody yell "No me gusta" from the background there?
Exactly. No me gusta mucho. But we're going to impregnate Cadiz with the big sexy baby. And there's going to be tons of love happening.
This sure is a narrow spit of land.
It is a very narrow spit of land. It really is. But it's gorgeous and it's beautiful. Like I said, people that I've talked to almost to a person that we mentioned we're going to Cadiz has been like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing. So I can't wait to share that journey. But right now, it's all about getting all the paperwork and everything done to get the visa to be able to go. Right. So we're diving in, and we mailed off the fingerprinting cards to get the background checked information. I put the background application online. So all that said and done, so hopefully the moment we get back to the U.S., that'll already be there waiting for us to pick up and to keep moving forward, apply for the visa, get all that taken care of, and get everything ready to go for October. So yeah, that's going to be an intensive procedure that I'm really, really looking forward to.
It's super exciting. I mean, it's also exciting. I mean, it's kind of like, you embarked on this digital nomad journey, so there was an inherent level of just in the wind. We'll figure it out as we go along. So, I don't want to say a comfort level with the where might I be, but I think that naturally as humans, we kind of want some anchor, some solid type of just, we know this isn't changing, whatever that might be. And
yeah, it feels really good to be in a place of stability and knowing that we're going to be at one location we'll have one address the entire time, I'm assuming, hopefully. And, that changes things. Like when we came back to Malaga for 3 months in the winter, we had one address the entire time. And that really helps when you're not trying to pack everything and bounce around a lot. I mean, it's really cool to see other places, but the ability to actually travel and take vacations in other locations will be possible when you have a home address. You know what I mean? When all your stuff's in a lovely place. And I know that the cost of living is slightly lower than Malaga, so that's going to be a benefit. And
we're also going to have an extra income, yeah?
We'll have an extra income. We'll possibly have 2 extra incomes because the wife also applied for the position. So we'll see what happens with that. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said my wife applied for it. She got the position. So she's also hired with it. So, I mean, we have additional with the income, which will be very helpful, So I'm really looking forward to what the future holds. And the future looks really, really good, So fingers and toes. And if I could, my nose, it's going to be an amazing adventure. And I can't wait to take everybody with us. So everybody also tell your friends and bring them along for the ride as well. And you mentioned cruising. I really started to look into like the cruises available between now and May for Virgin Voyages, and there are several ones that I'm looking at. So at one point in time, I'm going to get serious about it and figure out when, where, and the how, and we'll share that information here as well. I'm also going to go to our friends over there at
cruisehabit.com, bitches,
to see their ideas and information about those lines.
Question: the credit, or what is it that you purchased? Explain again. I know you mentioned.
So we purchased a future voucher.
Okay, future voucher.
A future voucher for our next cruise. And that voucher expires May of 2025.
Is it transferable?
Yes, the voucher is transferable. So if push comes to shove and we're not able to find one that we can go on, it is transferable, and we can just, somebody just give it to them, and we pay for it. Because we got one for the transatlantic, we got a voucher from somebody we met on my birthday cruise.
Okay.
Right. And we got it from him. So, if we had to pay it forward, we do it just exactly the same way they did it for us. But I would much rather go on a cruise.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
We are getting, I think I mentioned this in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, but things are starting to solidify with doing the Elkton Magic group cruise. It definitely looks like it's going to be Carnival out of Baltimore for ease of concept. That way, number one, I've recruited performers that are regional. That way we don't have to pay for flights. The audience that we're attacked, it's so easy here. Like the cruise terminal in Baltimore is an exit off of Interstate 95. And awesome. When you leave the cruise terminal, it leaks right back on to 95. So it is super easy to get to, super easy to return from.
What's the cost of parking like?
I don't know, because I've only taken one cruise out of the Baltimore cruise terminal. Mm-hmm. And because it was 4 of us, we ended up, because of the luggage and everything, I've got somebody in my business networking group runs a limo and transportation company. So we had them take us there and back.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But my offers a lot of times, and this does not speak for everybody else, but my offers a lot of times include free parking at the port.
Okay.
But
that's beneficial. That's awesome.
I would imagine it's not super expensive. But it's it's convenient. Like the location is great, on and off pretty easy. And we're right now, it looks like we're targeting, and things are close to being solidified. We're waiting on a few last minute things to make sure that we know for certain that Carnival is going to be able to give us the event space that we want. Because if we can't get the event space that we want, then it all falls apart. What the hell's the point?
Right. That'd make it very tough to not have the main thing you want to go for.
Yeah. So that's cool. If anybody is looking to even contemplate that, we are looking at April 13th through the 20th. And again, that'll be Carnival out of Baltimore. Don't book anything, because
not yet.
Unless you
actually want to go on a cruise.
Well, if you want to be included, don't get me wrong. If you booked, or let's say that you randomly happen to have already booked and you're on this cruise, so you don't book through the group, you're not going to be in any of the communications about any of the events. But of course, if you're a listener here and you reach out to me, you're going to be included in that stuff. Nobody's going to slam a door on your face. But
right.
The economy of what makes this work, we need to get people booking through the group, because that is what allows us, every so many cabins that get booked, we get free cabins, which allow us to put up the performers and make the whole thing happen.
You should create a Facebook page for the cruise.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, because that's when we were on the transatlantic for Virgin Voyages, we found different Facebook groups, and that's how I was able to promote the line dance classes and get people playing mahjong and all the things there. That was very, very beneficial.
The other cesspool that I have gotten sucked into is a nasty little thing called Reddit.
Oh, Reddit. Fuck Reddit. Reddit. I mean, not fuck Reddit in a bad way, but fuck Reddit. It's
a hot mess, right?
It took me a while to understand how to navigate it, and I still don't quite know how to navigate it, but if I need something, I know how to get in there and find it. But everybody, if you have a question about this, go to Google search always brought up a Reddit article. Well, let me see if I understand Reddit. And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
I don't know whether somebody was telling me this, or it was a meme that I saw, or where I got this information from. But I was told somewhere that the best practice when you have a question that you want to get the legit answer to from Reddit is that you have to have 2 accounts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You post the question that you want the answer to, and then you post on the second account an answer that's probably not right.
That's wrong. Right. Everybody
It's
will.
And
log
everybody's
on
going
there
to pick
and correct you.
They may not answer your question, but boy, oh boy, are they going to take every opportunity to take a shot at homie who answered it wrong.
Right.
And then from there, you can get the right answer by
I've never heard that method.
That one to pieces. So I don't know where I heard that. I don't know where that came from, but from everything I've observed, I've actively been using Reddit for about 2 weeks now. And I know this because apparently there are like awards, quote unquote, that you can get for certain things, and achievements. That's the word I'm looking for. Right. Achievements. And right now I have 15 out of 20 days consecutively toward a 20-day streak. Now I've had an account for 3 or 4 years. Like, this is the same account that I've had for years. I just don't use it. Every so often, right. Beer in a Backpack will throw something at me that is a link on Reddit. A lot of times it's ridiculous stuff.
Stupid shit. Yeah, Reddit's full of stupid shit.
Yeah. But I have already started to make some connections on there. That seem to be beneficial. Like just today, number one, for the last 3 days, I haven't been able to post original posts on Reddit because I'm an idiot. And I'm sitting here and I forgot about like Tech Support 101. And again, another shout out to Beer in a Backpack, who is now my official IT guy. And I
did you unplug it and then plug it back in?
Well, I couldn't. So if I wanted to go post something, commenting was fine, upvoting things was fine, no problems there. Okay. And I primarily do this from the desktop, not my app. I have the app, but whatever. There are certain things that just I want to. I'm old, so I want to right. Desktop. Let's just be real about what it is and not call it something else. So I can bring up posting into a subreddit, but then the buttons at the bottom are not. They're grayed out, not blue, to actually post the thing. And there are no flags that I can see on my account, no warnings for breaking rules or any of that kind of stuff. I couldn't figure it out, right? And then the simple solution of, have you tried logging off and logging back on? So I did that, and now it works. So and that is the story of how Beer in a Backpack became my IT guy officially. Not a paid position, unfortunately, but
well, that's good. That's good. Good job, Beer in a Backpack. Way to go. Yes.
Yeah. So keeping me stirring the cesspool of Reddit. But one of the things that I posted on there was, and it looks like I just got somebody. Oh, perfect. I just got my second response. So I posted on there, specifically in the Carnival Cruise Line fans page, subreddit. Right. Sorry, let me use the right words here. And I basically spilled it out. I said, look, I twisted a little bit because this whole thing was my idea, that I went to Chris and Lisa, gowithlisa.com, about doing.
What is your Reddit page?
It is Doge Law MD.
Doge Law MD.
Like DOGE. Let me double check and make sure I'm telling you right. Law MD. Yeah. So I posted in there. I said, look, I just got booked privately through a travel agent, which is somewhat accurate. The only inaccuracy there is that I approached them with the idea and said, hey, we should do this. And they're like, hell yeah, let's do it. About being private entertainment on their group cruise. I'm a hypnotist. This is great because I don't have the schedule to get locked down for 6, all of the concerns that I've probably expressed numerous times on this podcast. It gives me the ability to do one-offs. I would love to connect with other travel agents who are interested in adding that extra value to a group cruise. The one great thing about me which I also mentioned in the post specifically to Carnival, is that I'm a degenerate. Now, I didn't call myself a degenerate in the post, but I did mention the fact that, hey, I play enough in the casino that I almost always have an offer for a free cabin, which means you're not allocating cabin credits to me. You're going to pay me to do the gig.
Right.
If we're porting somewhere that I have to fly to, you're going to pay for that. But you're not going to have to pay for me to be on the ship, which is a big expense, because on Carnival, I believe it's something like 16 cabins to get one free. So they have to book 16 in the group, or maybe it's booked 15 and the 16th is free, but something,
something along
you
those
got to
lines,
have,
right.
You got to have something.
It's not like buy
lines.
3, get 1 free. You got to have quite a bit.
So when you're looking at, as a travel agent, and maybe I'm wrong about the math here because I only know what I need to know. When you're booking as a travel agent, I'm assuming that the first 15 bookings get you your cabin for free. So in order for somebody to get me my cabin for free on top of that, they really have to book 30 or 32, whatever the number is. So now, granted, I want them to have that many people to make the show worth doing anyway, but
that'd be amazing.
And again, sometimes that extra, why would I go on the group cruise? I don't like people. Well, why are you going on a cruise if you don't like people? But
it's possible to go on a cruise and not be a people person. There are tons of isolated spots on cruise ships.
Well, and if you're just going to eat, there's plenty of that all the time.
Enjoy dinner, and then you buy yourself a balcony room, and you just kick it on your balcony and watch the ocean pass by.
Sweet. I just got a second one that responded to me. So I've got 2 travel agents that have reached out to me from Reddit on a post that I posted a couple of hours ago. And again, I'm not looking to do this full time. Like I can afford calendar time to maybe do this 4 or 5 times a year. And if I could backdoor it through travel agents where I'm part of a community, I'd rather do that anyway than do it.
Yeah, just be careful about going into the back door of a travel agent. I'm just saying.
Well, don't be a fool. Wrap your tool.
That's exactly. Take it easy. No love without a glove.
Yeah.
Even if that love is, traveling around the world. Maybe even more so. But yeah, so well, good, man. That's I'm sure that's going to come together. It's going to come together nicely. You're going to have a great time.
Look, I'll tell you, you build a big enough network, a big enough community, you can take over the world. And
that's what I'm hoping we get to do here. Well, I don't know about big enough to take over the world, but I definitely want to take over some parts of Spain.
Yeah,
and some cruise lines.
One thin spit at a time. What is it?
One narrow spit at a time. One narrow spit of land at a time.
Yeah.
That's it. Absolutely. Oh, I want to give because I like to do things before I forget because I tend to forget shit. I want to send a shout out to Joshua Tarr, a listener to the podcast, who I put a post on our Patreon asking for suggestions about the Patreon, like what would our listeners and what would our subscribers, people who subscribe to the Patreon, like to receive as perks or benefits of being a paid subscriber, right? Somebody asked me the other day, what do your subscribers get? And I was explaining what our subscribers get, and they're like, what's the value in that? And I had to explain that the value is that you get shit that other people don't get. You get access to things other people don't get. So I posted in the Patreon, like, what would you guys like? And Joshua Tarr responded. And I just want to touch on some of the ideas he came up with and run them by you and get your thoughts on it.
Sounds good to me. Speaking of which,
oh yes.
Speaking of which, I finally got off the schneid and got all of the prizes out. Plus,
oh good.
And plus, I mean, I added other stuff in, and many of them are either a lot of all but one of them appear to be either delivered or out for delivery today. So
Excellent. So listeners, if you
the
got
only
swag
exception is I
from
haven't
us,
sent Wayne's yet. I have not sent Wayne's yet because of it's international and
right. He's in Australia, so it's gonna take a little bit to get there. But Wayne got the big prize anyway. He got to go to the whiskey barbecue. Either that or took somebody else with the whiskey barbecue on our ticket, but whatever's fine. What I will put a request: if you receive Big Sexy Digital Nomad swag, please take a picture of you in the swag and post it on our social medias, or post it on your social media and tag us, so that we can get the word out there and get things out there. I really, really appreciate that. So as a thank you to us and a thank you to you, you got the swag, and a thank you to us. Please post that on your social medias. All right, some of Joshua's ideas. Let's go. The first one: a virtual hangout or game night. Now, he did say it may be hard to schedule with the time zone differences, but that's not a bad idea.
it's not a bad idea at all. I mean, we're like a half a step toward there when we live stream. Now, we haven't been great about announcing well in advance, hey, we're going to live stream, but we're live streaming as we are now.
Right.
And I would say that every time we do this, we end up with anywhere between 5 and 15 people watching it. There is a little chat. Also, so we see a chat. What that chat equates to is you commenting on the video wherever you're seeing it stream. So if it's on YouTube, I'm pretty sure if you comment there, it's going to show up in what we see as a private chat.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't do that is Instagram.
Instagram, you've got to monitor, right?
Instagram, I have to monitor Instagram, but other than that, it should show up in our comments. What I was thinking, well, of course, if we do a game night or something like that, one, it would have to be trivia.
Yeah,
and I love trivia game nights. Those are fun to do, right? Because there's no way to play mahjong. I mean, you could play mahjong online. I have to teach everybody the rules of the game. That's not a bad idea. There's a mahjong website that I do run, but I don't run it. I played on it before, but I digress. Like a fun trivia night. I think a Big Sexy Digital Nomad trivia night. I think would be a lot of fun. That'd be interesting. It would be difficult to schedule with time zone differences. We'd have to schedule it well in advance and get the word out to people and get some people as well to hop on and join the festivities. So
and make
I like
sure
that.
Very clear about the relevant time zones, because the one thing that I realized in sending out these packages is that we got a lot of people that are all over the place.
Yeah,
graphically,
we do,
which is great. Love it. But that's obviously another consideration of, okay, this is Pacific and this is Mountain and this is Central and this is East Coast and this is
Spain. And this is Spain and this is Europe and this is Russia.
I don't want to pull a bucket show where every time that we put out a flyer for it, it's wrong.
Right. We want to definitely be sure that it's correct with all the time zones listed.
They've done that so many times that I swear now it's just a bit. So
you would think. Another thing he says is different types of bonus videos. So it may be like the top 5 best or worst, whatever, from each of us. Right. So we should, and that's not a bad idea. You and I should sit down and for a really small bonus video, like, a quick 10-minute clip, just do our top 5 best, whatever, or even better yet, put it out to our listeners. Hit us up on social medias, and what would you like to our top 5 what? Give us suggestions for a top 5, and then we'll record a bonus episode specifically addressing those top 5 things.
And it can be something that gets released just to the Patreon for a good chunk of time. We'll probably, because top X, whatever the number is, lists of whatever seem to be pretty popular on YouTube. We're not going to not eventually release that to the public because it's a great way to introduce people to the podcast. But it's certainly definitely the kind of thing that can stay behind the Patreon wall, whether paid or not, because the option to just release it to members doesn't even have to just be paid members. We put stuff out there that is just to people that are listed, no
on our
regard
Patreon,
to
right?
Paid or unpaid. And then it doesn't become public till we want it to become public and use it as a siphon for new listeners.
Right. He also mentioned a big sexy parody song once a month. So I will take on that challenge, Joshua Tarr. I will do one parody song a month at least. I'm going to probably create a few more. I have some time and some ideas, and I've been writing down, as they happen organically, some fun ideas and stuff like that to create a parody song. And then I'm going to, of course, lean that over to our newfound AI friend.
But this is a two-way street, okay? We are all about doing all of this, but help us help you. We'd love to add all this stuff. So yes, and we need your input on what songs, what topics would you like to see parodied? What lists do you want to see our top and bottom 5 of? Because we're down to pound. You just need to give us a target.
That's right. Exactly.
We'll come up with some, but we won't, there's probably something that you want to know. Hey,
or something you want
them
want to be made fun of, and we'll be happy to make fun of something. Again, when I write my parody song, I try to have a humorous tint to it. If you want something more personalized, I've had people, hit me up when I should do like personalized poetry. People would have me hit them up with, they give me like, this is happening in my life, and I would love a poem or words about this and this and that. If you're about to get a surgery and you want a parody song based off of a Grateful Dead song or whatever, or Rolling Stones, you're about to get your gallbladder removed, I don't know, whatever the fuck, I can write that song for you, and as a Patreon member, you'll get that song directly to you, and the other Patreon, being Patreon, that's extra bonus content for you to get, because what I really want to do is make sure you have value.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that you get value in what's being said and what's being done and what's out there. And then also you put down generally shorter form videos to supplement the main podcast rather than a full episode interview, right? So little small videos here and there. I have been doing the Big Sexy Daily Walkabouts that I'm going to start. I have an idea of going into the editor and taking once a week, put in whatever videos I've done for that week, put them together, the short video, and put that up to the Patreon as well. Things like I'm trying to get more descriptive in my walkabouts, not just, hey, I'm walking to the store, look at the weather, here we go. All right, y'all, safe travels. I'm walking here today, and this is what I'm seeing, and showing what I'm going at. So you actually get a chance to walk through the world with me as well. And I want to put that up at the Patreon so that our listeners and our subscribers really get a chance to walk through the world with me. And I've been going some pretty interesting places, and it's about to get even more beautiful and insane and crazy. And I want to take y'all with me. And so, but I want that to be value, and I want to be inspired. And the best way to inspire the constant reminder to post is to swing on over to our Patreon at bullwiththebutthole.com and become a subscriber on the Patreon. Easy peasy.
Yeah, and ultimately, as that grows, as the listenership grows, it may start to be able to look like some other podcast where once a month you're getting an email from somebody saying, hey, thanks for supporting us, you get this. And it may just be something that, and I'll tell you right now, on that one podcast that many of us are supporters of, I get that email every month and I ignore it most of the time, because unless I have a specific idea, I don't have an idea, which I get it. So I'm not pointing a finger at anybody for not throwing us ideas, but please throw us ideas. at least that reminder gets me to sit there and reflect for a few moments to be like, do I have any ideas that might, warrant a limerick or
Right.
whatever other things those guys do. So
And I'll be sending out. I'm going to get more active on the Patreon, and I'll be sending out, possibly monthly reminders at the beginning of each month, thinking about our Patreon subscribers. And we do that here. We reach out to our Patreon subscribers and give them all a shout out, each and every one of them. So we really appreciate you all being listeners of the podcast and supporting us over at Patreon. So we definitely appreciate you all doing so. Very much so. And I'm talking this way because I'm stalling to find our good old-fashioned list of our Patreon members. Folks over there like Jesus, Galen Diggs, Smitty Scoop, Angel Quo, Bree, Chris Lowry, Sebastian Robbins. Shout out to Margaret White, Lee Popsicle, Joshua Tarr, and shout out to our free community people in the community: JW Reynolds, Aesthetics, Jen, Tess, Joe, and of course our fellow podcast Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love Podcast.
I think I'm gonna see Lee Popsicle later this summer.
Oh, good. Where is he? Where is he at? Like, where does he live?
He's in Oregon, Portland.
Okay.
And when he saw that I was doing the shows, I don't know, it's maybe like an hour-ish from Portland. Reach out to ask for details about the county fair shows that I'm doing in Redmond, Oregon.
That might be a place.
Website. So I suspect that I will see him and get to hang out with him at some point in time in either late July or the first week of August. So that'll be cool.
Well, fun time. Well, awesome. So again, we appreciate the support, the love, and our listeners. We thank y'all very much for hanging out. You got any immediate shows you need to promote or talk about?
Well, I got one in like 4 hours, but that's a little short.
By the time you hear this, it will have happened. It was an amazing show. You should have been there.
If you're watching it live and you somehow happen to be in or around Elkton, or maybe you're driving on your way to Elkton to go and catch this show, fantastic. I look forward to seeing you. We booked 2 more nonprofit shows coming up. The nonprofit thing has been going so well from a booking perspective that the business model is shifting. And I actually, because we kept offering the option for organizations to just go out and sell sponsorships, but nobody really had the wherewithal to do that. So I was like, all right, well, what are you, and I started asking people and other nonprofits and things like that, because I don't like to reinvent the wheel. I want to make sure that before I launch something, it makes sense. So the business model is shifting to one where we start selling the sponsorships for organizations, and our pay is going to be a percentage of that, which ultimately makes them more money anyway. So it's a win-win there. And it helps put more butts in seats if you've got an organization that can't fill whatever room they've booked. But yeah, as a result, I set up and actually just got approval last Friday. I got 501c3 status for the organization that's all going to run through. So, so that's pretty cool. So I will always and constantly renew that call to action, that if you've got a nonprofit that you are looking to help raise some money for, give me a call, hit me up, because we love to do them. And yeah.
Awesome sauce. Swing on over and get that taken care of. And don't forget, we got merch. If you want to get some big, sexy digital nomad merch, we have a lot of stuff. Shout out to our dear friend Brogan over there.
Hey, buddy, nice podcast.
Who has done a lot of our artwork for our merch. You can swing on over to whereisbigsexy.com. That's where as in clothing. You can check that out there. We have tons of merch there. I want to send a request to any graphic artists out there who also want to create some artwork for Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Hit us up. I would love to see what other artists' rendition of what they think our image and stuff would look like. Would love to see that, and then with permission and business acumen, we'll put it up on the merch store. And again, whatever sales you get, of course, get a portion of. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna retire off of it, but we'll gladly cut you in.
No, yeah, we'll cut you in a little bit. We'll make that happen. But yeah, well, thank you all again for listening. We appreciate y'all for spending time with us. And before we go, I got to remember to do this.
Want cruise information, tips, tours, and more? Check out cruisehabit.com/BSDN. Please, it's all I know anything about.
And again, that was
cruisehabit.com/BSDN.
All right, and y'all take care. And in the meantime, safe travel.